How's it going, everyone? Welcome to episode 21 of the ControllerCast. My name is Ursel, always joined by Andrew Ihausen, John Wood, and Parker Tedrow. How's your guys' week's been? Andrew, how about you start off?
Yeah, been pretty good. Nebraska's all the way back, baby. They're winning the national championship this year, no doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah. I jumped on the Indiana bandwagon, and the bandwagon broke both of its wheels and got dysentery and died on the Oregon Trail. So we're done with Indiana.
Yeah,
Go Gators. Go Dogs. Go Scourge.
Yes, there was some pretty fun games to watch this weekend for sure.
Oh, and fall is all the way back. Valles is back.
Valles is back. I was at Valles too.
It's all the way back.
So what is Valles for anyone that doesn't live in Omaha?
Valles is this this plumpkin patch a little bit south there of Omaha, and
it's in Gretna, Nebraska.
The Blumpkin
yeah, it's
patch.
just kind of a nice fall vibe there when you go there, especially when it's like
kind of
raining or when it's cold. It's pretty dope.
It's a really overpriced pumpkin patch that's just really fall vibes.
Overpriced
like,
unless you
get
if you get the season pass. Basically, you have to go like twice to make your money back. That's what we
exactly.
do.
It's worth it.
But they got good ass food.
But is Valles worth going to more than twice?
Bro, the food at Valles is basically like the food at Disney World.
Dude, me and Jordan literally like before I graduated and had full-time corporate responsibilities, we would just like go there. We would take our season passes, just go there and eat lunch and then leave. Because their food is amazing, dude.
I will literally pay John
That's
or
clutch.
Andrew. I will literally pay one of you guys to get me the popcorn. Like I will pay you $2 or $3 extra for that.
No, I would just give it to you for what I paid for it.
Yeah, 2 or 3. What the hell?
Yesterday we got this like diabetes machine. It was like a apple juice slushy with ice cream on top, and then
it's an apple cider
donut with an apple cider donut with caramel drizzle all over it. It was like
Not
the most
enough
insane
sugar.
thing I've ever gotten.
Oh. It looked literally like something straight out of Disney World. Like,
yeah.
I didn't get one. I got one of the alcoholic witch's brew slushes though. Those were fire.
Yeah.
Did you have any of the hard ciders?
No, we did not.
Dude, they're so good. They're actually so good. 2 of those, easy money.
Dude.
And it was like $8. Not too bad.
Dude, pumpkin patches are like low-key kind of overrated. Like I would just get like the food from Valles and be good. Like they don't even have to put pumpkins out.
I mean, I like the vibe, the unquantifiable vibe. The vibe.
It is a vibe.
Yeah.
It is a vibe.
It's an absolute vibe.
Yeah.
Especially with all the pumpkins.
I only like it for the popcorn, bro. That's all I like Valles for.
But I will say, I always get depressed when I go there and I see those poor little ponies or any animal there because I'm just,
the ponies were not there. Actually,
Yeah, they had goats.
oh, now they're just torturing goats. Okay. No, but like they have that those ponies that like just walk around in the circle on that thing.
Yeah.
Like,
They do have a chicken restaurant right next to a chicken coop, so it's interesting.
Chicken Run. Has anyone seen Chicken Run?
Yeah. The like 3D animation movie, like claymation.
Yeah.
The
That was
most
one of my favorites as a kid.
the most vibey time to go to Valles is if it's like
October.
59 degrees, cloudy, and it's like barely
Absolutely.
drizzling outside. It's like perfect.
Absolutely. Got a hoodie on.
Oh.
Give that to me now.
One time we went there when it was like raining, and it was like
got a fair woman on your shoulder.
and it was like
Doesn't
60
get a lot
degrees
better
and
than that,
raining.
boys.
And it was like a Wednesday afternoon, and we were like 2 of like 5 people in the entire place. It was fucking awesome.
Oh, dude.
When it's 69 degrees, got a nice cold beer in your hand, and
You got a nice
You got-
cold
you
bush
got-
in one
yeah.
hand and a
Right,
shotgun
like
in the other
jeans.
hand.
and you got your lady right on your arm, walking through Valles. Nothing like Nebraska, but
Shout out to when John said the reason he wants to stay in Nebraska is Valles.
Dallas
Oh.
is hype, and it's only a matter of time before they have a damn roller coaster. Honestly,
I'm sure.
just get a roller coaster up in that.
Believe it or not,
Yeah, definitely not happening.
Believe it or not, pumpkin patches exist outside of Nebraska, John.
No, nothing like Dallas, bro. Have you ever been somewhere that's like equivalent to Dallas outside of Nebraska?
No, but I've also never gone to a pumpkin patch outside of Nebraska.
Would there even be a pumpkin patch in Arizona? Is that a thing?
I don't think they can grow pumpkins.
Can they? I was gonna say, can they grow them, or do they have to import them?
I don't think the soil there works for that.
No, definitely not. But
I'm sure there's some like, I don't know, like Val's is cool. I love Val's, but I would not ever list that as a reason for me to stay.
No,
but,
I don't. Yeah. I don't remember saying that, so I'd like to strike that from the ControllerCast record. But what? I wouldn't stay in Nebraska for Vallis. I would definitely visit.
This is a black ops. You can't just
strike it from the record.
You can't just redact
strike it from the record.
The numbers, Mason. They're right there.
There's a pumpkin patch in Glendale, Chandler, and Phoenix, Arsenal.
Yeah, there you go.
It's called the Arizona Pumpkin Patch.
Dang.
There you go.
But does it have 2 haunted houses? Does it have
okay, but the Val is a haunted house.
Does it have a corn maze?
Val's haunted houses aren't even fucking haunted houses, dude.
Okay.
Oh, and then the corn maze.
Are you really gonna dick measure now?
Yeah. Okay.
Does it have like 12 restaurants?
The corn maze that literally closes every time, like the corn maze closes like
hard cider
4 p.m.
Homemade hard cider, some of the best kettle corn you've ever had.
Val's dick sucking will continue shortly.
Okay. Okay. So the requirements.
We are not sponsored, but we could be.
Popcorn.
That'd be nice.
Popcorn, food, and hard cider at the pumpkin patch. Okay, I will be keeping that checklist.
You just described a fucking 2021 movie theater, you jackass.
I mean, yeah.
I will keep a checklist of those things when I go to my next pumpkin patch. But anyways,
dude, the Arizona pumpkin patch also is no entry fee. So that's
look at that.
What?
That's in my book. But Parker, how's your week been?
So honestly, just doing my usual shit, man. I had my 3 things I like to do. I like to listen to music, play video games, and watch sports, and I basically just did that all week. I really enjoyed listening through Donda, of course. I did that a couple times, and that takes more time than you think throughout the week. And then I watched a ton of the football games yesterday and the day before that. And man, I'm glad that world's kind of coming back to a little bit of normal, even with all the craziness. But yeah,
Nebraska just ignores problems.
True.
Nebraska just ignores the problems.
That is true.
Just a usual standard week for good old Mr. Tidro.
Yeah, just performing on my hobbies, really.
Yeah. Well, John, you're gonna lose your privileges for what you did this week until you start playing God of War again, buddy. No,
that's fine. I talked enough.
No, I'm kidding. Yeah, what you been up to this week?
Did go to Vallis on Saturday as well. That was really fun. But besides that, I mean, been relatively chill, I guess. Haven't been doing too much. Just recently got into G Fuel. So if we could get sponsored by G Fuel, that would be amazing. Get our own flavor up in this, like a ControllerCast flavor. I think that would be sick.
Blue raspberry.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking for the blue. But honestly, besides the Vallis talk, I don't really have a lot to say. What have you been up to though, Ursel?
So I'm just traveling coast to coast, making my my tour of the U.S.
Yeah.
In celebration of Donda, I flew out to the place where he did the live performances in Atlanta. So yeah, I'm in Atlanta right now. And I just got here yesterday, and I'm just out here with my cousin from Houston and also my aunt and uncle. So I'm just chilling here until for the Labor Day weekend. I'm gonna be out here till Thursday, and then finally I will be back in. I'll be back in Arizona, and my little like kind of tour of traveling is gonna end for a little bit up until probably October because I do want some time now that I've been traveling like 1 week on, 1 week off for the past month. Like I do want to have a little bit of downtime because I think the traveling will resume back in October and November. But like I'll probably obviously go back to Omaha in October. I think I might go to Texas in November, but we'll see about that. And then obviously we have other trips. I know we want to all go to Seattle and things. So the trips are just racking up, rack them up, rack them up, rack them up.
Rack them up, rack them up, rack them up. Dude, Seattle's going to be hard, dude. Those plane tickets are expensive. Have you looked?
No.
Dude, plane tickets to Seattle for whatever reason are really expensive.
Probably not from Phoenix, though.
Probably not from Phoenix.
Phoenix is a hub, but also
that's
like
true.
Since I have more
Phoenix
flexibility where but I have like flexibility to kind of just choose whatever dates are the cheapest. Like my trip out here is kind of unorthodox, and like I flew out here on a Saturday and I'm gonna be leaving on Thursday, which like I probably wouldn't be able to do something like that otherwise. Like if I was working like a regular job, but yeah, like I can kind of just pick and choose the dates that work best and work around that for my schedule, which I like. So, but anyways, that's kind of all I've been up to this week. I've just been, I started my new job. That's kind of been my other big thing. But that's just in the training phase. It's pretty good. I'm enjoying it. But yeah, I guess we can go ahead and get into the current events and then the main topic. So let's get started. So Parker, I gotta bring you into the fold, buddy. Because you're such a avid patron of the service.
Oh Lord.
Oh my God.
I want to know your feelings, your thoughts, on OnlyFans. Now that they did it, did you see they did a 180? Now they're not removing any of the.
It's almost like when you take backlash for something, you go back to what you did originally. It doesn't make sense, their decision in the first place, and I think they realized that very quickly and how much money they'd lose. So it doesn't shock me at all. It was news I was honestly expecting to hear.
Yeah, well, that was just a kind of a meme current event. I just wanted to mention that as a joke. But no, this first one, I actually really want to get your guys' thoughts on, because I think this is just a classic album that we're talking about, and I really want to talk about it with you guys. So have you guys seen the Nirvana lawsuit? Because
I actually did hear about that.
I did not.
Yeah. Okay.
The kid that.
Yeah. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So the Nirvana baby, aka the baby on the cover of Nevermind, he's suing the remaining members of Nirvana and the Kurt Cobain estate for like child pornography, or because that's what he views that cover as, and that they didn't get his like consent, or like they didn't get his parents' consent to like actually use it, and they only gave them like $200 to use photo. But I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts on this one? Because I think it's kind of weird, because I feel like this dude has been like repping this album his whole life, but like I don't know, like does someone want to jump in here?
I don't really know much about it, but it seems like he's just trying to secure a bag. I mean, if I don't like, how old is he now?
Like in his 20s, I think.
seems sus to me, but I don't know. I mean, I feel like
I
if
don't
that
know,
came out
yeah.
today, you would obviously get that CP shit slammed on you. I don't know. It's kind of a
I'm
weird
kind of
topic.
surprised. I don't know.
I mean,
I'm
the
kind of
fact that the
surprised he would
lawsuit's
go after
happening
it
now,
at this point. Yeah.
literally
Why didn't his
25 years
parents
later.
Why didn't his parents go after it? And why didn't his parents do a better job at preventing this from happening if they really cared?
Yeah, it's literally
Like-
a baby. Like you know that if somebody's taking a picture of your fucking baby, you should know about it.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that there was probably, at the very least, a verbal contract at the time that the picture was taken for the album. And I mean, that's probably the end of it. I don't know. I feel like you can't fight that. It's
So,
20, it's
one
been
thing-
how many years?
Almost
thing
30,
that kind of-
actually. Almost 30
the one
years
thing-
ago.
The one thing that kind of makes this whole thing kind of like, okay, he's trying to secure a bag or whatever, or he's like butthurt, is like he was talking about how he was upset that like Nirvana didn't come and promote his like art show, which is like what?
What?
Yeah,
Sounds like a movie villain.
yeah. He was like, like I'm on the cover of your album, like, so that has to mean I'm a big deal, right? Like, why aren't you guys treating me like that or something? It was like the weirdest thing ever.
Dude,
But
okay, I'm reading the article about it. So his lawyer is arguing that the inclusion of the dollar bill makes the baby look like a sex worker.
Yeah.
And this dude is 30 years old. He recreates this photo every 5 fucking years. Like, obviously he has no shame in the photo. If he keeps I mean, he's wearing pants like in the later ones, but he keeps recreating it.
I mean, does anyone who's seen this album cover think it's cheese pizza? Like, serious, like, like, is that anyone's
No.
thought? But it's like they're looking
What?
at it.
Well, because because the intent
Pizza.
is to not like send it to cheese
What?
pizza consumers. It's just an album cover, dude. Like, I mean, if
Pizza?
you're that embarrassed of it, I would highly advise
Pizza?
against recreating it every 5 years. That doesn't really
Wait,
build your defense.
where does
for it.
pizza fit in? I'm
That's what I'm
confused.
trying to figure out
Think-
right now is the pizza. What the fuck?
What's the pizza?
think about the first 2 letters of cheese pizza, of like the first letters of each word.
Yeah, that I see.
Oh god.
It was an acronym.
Oh
Yeah,
god.
cheese pizza.
Okay, next topic.
Yeah.
God.
Okay, yeah, thanks for putting that to a halt, guys. I'd sit there and explain
Jeez,
what that
Louis,
is.
I didn't get it. I've never heard that.
Well, anyways, I guess moving on. Inconclusive, failed topic.
Failure to launch.
Failure to launch. But okay, switching gears, moving into entertainment and not legal matters. The movie world, there's been some pre-release like buzz around the new Batman film with Robert Pattinson, and I just wanted to get your thoughts. I know I mentioned this in the group chat earlier this week, but there's been talks that this film is supposed to be like a horror film. I don't know if that's like hyperbole or like legit. Like this I could believe it because that first trailer was like kind of dark. But what are your thoughts on like I feel like the Batman films are usually always, or Batman related films are always the ones that are a little more genre bending. Like I was talked about before, how I think The Dark Knight is more of like a crime thriller than like a superhero film. So like I'm kind of curious, like what if Batman goes down the horror route? Like John, maybe you can jump in on this. I'd be interested because I think if Batman's the one hero that could bend the superhero genre and make something like that work. Like even Joker was kind of like this psychological drama instead of like a supervillain film. But John, what do you think?
Well, I've got a quick question. Do you know who's directing it?
Yeah, Matt Reeves. He's the guy who made the newest like Planet of the Apes trilogy. which is actually a pretty good trilogy. So
Yeah, it's not bad. Okay. Well, I mean, I'm always excited to see new Batman because Batman's one of my favorite superheroes. But I mean, trying to already compare it to Christopher Nolan's work, and I'm not going to do that. I'm going into this with no expectations, no comparisons to what Christopher Nolan was able to do with Batman. But I think that the idea that they could take a horror kind of approach to Batman, I think it's actually really interesting. I don't know like how exactly they'll do it. Like, is Batman gonna be the spooky dude? Like, is he gonna be the jump scares, or is it gonna be like a villain? I don't know. But do you know if it's gonna be rated R or PG-13?
No.
I'm sure it's not discussed, or I'm sure it's not out yet.
no,
That
I was just
information's
like,
probably not out.
yeah, it's not out. I was just like imagining, like imagine a Batman movie filmed like it was like presented like Hereditary or
That's
something
what I
like that.
keep. That's what I keep thinking.
With the
But
like droning horn
I
music
can't
and shit.
imagine.
Yeah, the like droning, the like long shots and the like droning like horns and
Joker gets his head taken off by a light pole.
Oh gosh, that scene is still stuck in my brain. Ugh. Not the
What were you saying,
Joker,
John?
obviously, but from Hereditary. I mean,
Yes.
I think I think a horror approach could be interesting, but also I don't know. It could be kind of off-putting. Like when
Yeah,
I think of
off-putting.
horror, it's something that I want to watch like during the Halloween season. And to put Batman into that category, I don't know. I don't know. I think if it's done well, it could be really interesting, but we'll see. I have no idea. I have no expectations because the last Batman trilogy was so damn good that I just want to wait and see. But I think it could be pretty interesting. Potentially.
What about you, Andrew Parker?
I think it's got potential, but I mean, we'll see if it gets executed right. I mean, I think isn't Robert Pattinson the Batman?
Yes, sir.
So, I mean, from the trailer, I mean, the original trailer they put out looked like it had a much darker tone. So, I mean, if they made it into a horror type movie, I think that'd be pretty cool. I mean, I'm a fan of Batman, so I mean, I'll take whatever I can get at this point.
What about you, Parky?
I have not honestly seen the trailer yet, so I will stay silent on this topic.
Well, even without seeing the trailer,
Honestly,
like the idea of a Batman film is a horror film.
I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest with you. It just really depends on the vibe. Like, there's a lot of horror movies I've watched that are very trashy, to say the least. So I just hope it goes down a non-cheesy path in terms of horror. Like, and it's actually like a decent movie.
I don't think it's gonna be.
I
I don't think it's gonna be like a slasher film or anything.
Yeah,
But...
Yeah.
yeah. I'm not even.
I have no clue what I'm talking about right now.
A Batman
I've never
slasher.
seen the trailer.
Yeah,
I'm kind of just guessing.
Yeah, I'm not imagining like. I'm not imagining like. What is the
or Paranormal Activity, Batman. Batman's just in a house and
like he's just hiding? It's like it's literally like Hereditary. Like he's hiding up in the corners.
no,
like
it's just
house.
Bruce Wayne in a haunted house. That's it.
Oh, it's just. Oh my God. Like what is the? Oh, I was just like imagine Batman, but it's Scream. Like just some like some teen chick like horror film. Because that like that's not the horror film. Yeah.
The new Batman movie is just Scary Movie 7.
Yes, that's what was the last one. 6.
I don't know what the last one was. I just said 7. I feel like they have a shit ton. I feel like Scary Movie and Fast and Furious are on the same number timeline where they just have a million of them and nobody even realizes how many there are.
John Hobbs.
Hobbs and Shaw.
Shobbs and Haw.
It's kind of curious how Robert Pattinson has a fascination for bat themed roles. This and Twilight.
Are vampires? Well, I guess. Yeah.
Right.
Kinda. Yeah. I guess you're right.
What else would they be related to?
I thought one of the Twilight dudes was like a wolf or some bullshit like that.
Yeah, that was
not Robert Pattinson.
That was Shark Boy.
Oh yeah, sorry, I'm not a Twilight aficionado like Parker is apparently.
Parker,
I just
you're
knew he
really
wasn't a
big into
werewolf.
Twilight, right?
I just knew he was a vampire.
How do you know that, buddy?
Because it's common sense.
Common sense. Whoa.
Common sense.
I agree with Parker, actually. I think that is kind of common sense.
Damn, bro. I'm gonna need to do one of those YouTube videos where I walk out on the street and ask people, like, do you know this? Name me one character's name from Avatar.
I can't. Don't ask me that. I can't do it.
I've literally
could.
seen the video where they do that and they name one character, and I don't even remember that character's name. Fuck Avatar. That's actually the lesson of today.
That's the lesson of the entire
Destiny
episode.
2 is a huge game. Name one character in the game?
Shaw and Hobbs.
Hobbs and Shaw, bro. Come on. Okay. And then the last current event I want to quickly talk to you guys about was
the new Hobbs and Shaw movie.
Yes.
Is there gonna be one?
No. Yes, probably.
Confirmed?
No, maybe confirmed. I don't know. Someone look this up. Someone fact check.
I got
Are you getting a new Hobbs and Shaw film?
New Hobbs and Shaw movie. Oh, new Hobbs and Shaw movie is the first thing that comes up when I search Hobbs.
No way.
Don't expect a Hobbs and Shaw sequel anytime soon, says Collider.com. Very reputable source.
All right, well, ControllerCast is on extended break confirmed until the next Hobbs and Shaw comes out.
Dude, you kidding me? You tell me you don't want a sequel to this? Look at this poster, bro.
Oh,
Idris Elba.
me.
Dude, look how angry Dwayne The Rock Johnson
kind of an
looks.
all-star cast. It is kind of an all-star cast.
A better
but
crossover.
Most of the
Super
time
Smash
that doesn't
Bros.
work. It's like a pro game. It's like the pro game at the end of the season in the NFL in a movie. Like no one wants to watch it, but it is an all-star cast.
That is
terrible.
Yeah, I want to meet that one person because I know there's that person that is just like highly invested in the Fast and Furious cinematic universe. Because
I want to get their perspective.
Yeah, like I want to sit down, bring them onto the ControllerCast. I want to have a discussion, be like, look, like I would love to know you, get to know your life, figure out who you are as a human being.
Dr. Sean Hobbs.
Like honestly, same. Please comment on one of our posts if you're a big Fast fan.
Yeah, and we'll sit down and we'll have a talk.
We're having a sweepstakes to be included in Fast and Furious 15.
Yeah, I wanna be in the Fast and Furious where they fight dinosaurs in Jurassic Park.
I want to be in it. Yeah, I want to be an extra.
But anyways, I guess moving on to
I want to be a main character. I want to be a protagonist.
I want to be Shaw.
the protagonist.
I want to be Hobbs.
I want to be whoever the fuck Dwayne The Rock Johnson is and Shaw.
I didn't
the
know you
first
could
person that
Fast and
comments
Furious.
on one of our
Shit.
posts gets to be Hobbs. We get to be Shaw. We all get to switch off.
It's a joint role. We're all Hobbs. Deep down, we're all Hobbs and Shaw.
You know the beauty of this? I just don't want to know who's who. I don't want to know who's Hobbs and who's
I just
Shaw.
want to guess.
I don't know who. Yeah.
I like one day, one day I'll wake up and I'll think that Dwayne is Hobbs. And one day I'll wake up and I'll think Dwayne is Shaw.
What if Idris Elba is actually Hobbs?
Yeah.
And Shaw.
Yeah. What
He's
if Hobbs
both of them.
is a reference
It's like
to something else
a
entirely?
Tyler Perry movie where Tyler Perry plays like 9 of the characters in the movie.
Or like an Eddie Murphy movie or something.
Or no, like Austin Powers where Michael Myers is like half the cast in the movie.
Hobbs and Shaw 12.
The Hobbs.
We're waiting on the
cinematic
sequel, as you can tell.
We should do an
We
episode
need
about the Austin Powers movies. I think that'd be fucking hilarious.
Oh yes. I
Shaggy?
agree, Andrew.
Shag me, baby.
Groovy,
That'd be pretty great.
baby.
Hobbs me baby.
Shaw me, baby.
And Shaw me,
And
baby.
Austin Powers and
Shaw me,
Fast
baby.
Austin Powers, Hobbs and Shaw
Crossover.
crossover.
event.
Yeah. Fast and Furious.
Austin
crossover
Shaw,
event.
Powers Hobbs.
I didn't know you guys
Yeah.
are such Fast and Furious enthusiasts. I'm
All
just
right,
figuring
anyway.
this
I'm
out.
an enthusiast, but I've only seen the first movie. I'm an enthusiast of the
enthusiast.
fan base.
The only knowledge I have of Hobbs and Shaw is Destiny 2. I don't have any other.
I think I saw a trailer a few years ago. I don't know.
And then it came out and it's like DLC on Destiny 2, right? Like Hobbs and Shaw
Yeah.
are both in the game.
Yeah. I've interacted with them recently.
Well,
Forgot to mention that in the how you doing section.
Fast and Furious was not on the agenda, but I guess it is now. So, but God damn it. Moving on. Let's talk about like quick thoughts. So we know there's going to be a PlayStation event, their big like yearly event, next Thursday, where they're going to probably talk about. They're going to probably
Hobbs and
talk
Shaw.
about. Yeah, but they're probably going to talk about a bunch of their upcoming lineup, probably God of War, probably Horizon, maybe Factions. I guess just want to go around and ask like what's one thing you want to really get out of this event, or what's a prediction of something you want to see, because this is their big yearly event for what's to come.
I gotta see a DLC on Fortnite, including Hobbs and Shaw.
Dude, they're actually in Fortnite.
Hobbs and Shaw.
I gotta see more of that.
I'm hoping for the sequel to Destiny 2, Destiny 2 2. Actually, though, I want to see God of War Ragnarok like really fucking bad. Like I need it.
On the real though, I don't expect to see God of War Ragnarok. I expect to see a lot of Horizon, like a big gameplay reveal, like a really long gameplay reveal of Horizon. I don't know if we'll see a lot of Ragnarok besides like maybe another trailer, like a real trailer.
Yeah.
Besides that, I don't really know what to expect. When is Gran Turismo 7 supposed to come out?
Next
I'd like
year.
to see some of that. If we can see some of that, that'd be pretty hype.
Factions is what I'm looking for sure.
Oh yeah, duh, Factions.
Yeah.
I hope to see
How are you
some of
gonna play it,
Factions,
Parker?
but I mean we've seen so little of it.
I can't.
We
bud.
haven't seen anything of Factions.
I just want to see gameplay of it.
besides like leaked BS.
Yeah,
That could have been like modded Last of Us 1 multiplayer for all we know.
What is it? Yeah, I want to definitely see Factions. That's probably the thing I'm most excited to see, because we haven't seen any official stuff of it.
Is
God
that
of War,
confirmed? Factions confirmed?
Yeah. So Factions is a thing. They've said they're working on it. Before Last of Us 2 came out, they said they were going to split it off into its own thing. There's been leaked gameplay of it. It's like running in the Last of Us 2 engine. So we know it's real. We just got to see what it is now, because it's clearly some really big project. It's like Naughty Dog is viewing it as its own thing. So I want to see God of War, and definitely some God of War. I think we're going to see God of War gameplay. I think we'll get a blowout on what? Oh my God. But I'm more excited to see what is to come beyond that, because I think a lot of the games that they showed off in the big showcase last year have come out this year, like Spider-Man, Returnal, Ratchet and Clank. Those games have come out, and now it's like, okay, now like kind of showed the next slate of games.
Bro, imagine if we saw Spider-Man 2. Like anything.
I don't think we're gonna see Spider-Man 2.
Yo, also
coming 2025.
Shout out to the internet for bullying Sony into making Horizon Forbidden West PS5 upgrade free, so everybody just effectively gets $10 off. So that's pretty sick.
Yeah,
that is sick.
Yeah, no, but that was honestly, Sony was being so fucking dumb in that. Like, Sony should have gotten all the smoke that they got.
Learned their lesson, I'm sure.
Yeah, they deserve all the smoke in that one because they were being dumb. And they also said that Horizon was gonna get a free upgrade to begin with. So yeah, they're finally going back to their word. But yeah, I'm honestly, like you guys said, factions, God of War, Gran Turismo. I'm excited to see factions, but also in God of War, but also what they have, like what other stuff they might show off.
A new
like
IP.
Yeah, like something. I think we're gonna get a new IP announcement. Like I'm gonna say PlayStation All Stars coming back.
Dude,
we can only wish.
Okay.
Bring
that into existence.
I'll buy your copy if you're right. No, I'm kidding. But but seriously, that would be insane if PlayStation All Stars came back. There's a lot more characters they could include too. It's not a bad idea at all.
Yeah, dude, they could include like Mario.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
they could include Master Chief, bro. What if Master Chief was in PlayStation All Stars before it was in fucking Smash?
Dina, Abby,
Doom guy,
potentially. Doom guy,
Snake.
Absolutely.
Aren't there a few PlayStation characters in Smash besides Snake? Right?
Snake, Cloud, well, I mean, Cloud isn't really PlayStation, but they started out on PlayStation.
He's pretty much PlayStation because I think Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, and what's the villain's name? I can't fucking remember.
Sephiroth. Yeah, that's a PlayStation character pretty much. Dang. Okay. Cool.
Byleth.
Bring him back.
He's a PlayStation character.
Baelish.
A Street Fighter isn't. I think Street Fighter is a PlayStation exclusive now. So like.
Lord Baelish.
Yeah. Yes, I want the Baelish video game. That's what
I want a Baelish video game, or a Hobbs and Shaw game.
Yes,
Hobbs and Shaw. What about Kirby? Isn't Kirby a Sony character?
Okay, well, that's it for the current events. Let's go ahead and get into the main topic.
Podcasts and web shows are on the rise, and for good reason. They're great sources of entertainment and can be great listens in multitudes of situations like long drives or intense study sessions. Maybe, just maybe, you have an idea for a show or podcast that you want to put out into the world. Well, lucky for you, it's never been easier to jump into podcasting thanks to the wonderful people at Anchor.fm. Anchor takes care of most of the back-end work of podcasts. No more are the days of coordinating releases on multiple platforms, paying for a podcast hosting subscription to hold your RSS feed, or other hassles. Anchor sets up your podcast on all the major podcast platforms like Spotify and Apple automatically. They even provide sleek and easy-to-use editing tools that can be accessed from your phone or computer to get your podcast to the world through the path of least resistance. Anchor also matches you up with sponsors so that you can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership, and even gives you in-depth stats for your shows like total plays, regions of viewership, as well as what kind of devices your show is being listened on. Here's the best part about all of this. It's free. So what are you waiting for? Anchor has everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. If you're ready to add your voice and vision to the mix, it's never been easier. And I highly recommend you go the way of Anchor.fm, just like the ControllerCast did. So here you go. Download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor.fm to get started. That's Anchor.fm.
I think the question that we all need to ask ourselves tonight is, guess who's going to jail tonight? And I think that's honestly the question of this entire album. Who is going to jail tonight? Is it Kanye West? Is it Drake? Is it Kim Kardashian? Is it
Is it
OJ
Stormy?
Simpson? Robert Kardashian? I don't know.
Find out this week
Kanye
in
knows a lot of
episode of
people. Kanye knows a lot of people. And today we're going to be talking about an album that has a lot of songs. A lot of songs. How many part twos are on this thing? Here, I got to check.
4.
1, 2, 3.
I don't see any
4.
Hobbs and Shaw
They're
part
all
2 on
the
there, so
same
trash.
song. They're all the same. This really, in all honesty, this should be a 23 song album or less. But let's start off with, okay, what did we all think of the rollout of this album? Because Kanye was kind of acting like the Joker leading up to all of this. Ursel, can you start us off? Because I know that you followed this pretty well.
Yeah, so just to give everyone a breakdown of the rollout of this album, he announced a live event for July 23rd, which is actually my birthday, in Atlanta for the album, and everyone thought the album was going to come out after this live event. Lo and behold, it didn't come out. And then he's like literally like adding songs to it and making changes, and the album's like super in live event and in Atlanta, and the album sounds way better. And then the album still doesn't come out, and then there's more gap, and then now in between the second and third live event, now the beef stuff starts coming back up. Like there's some sort of tension going on. Oh, it's because there was a Trippie Redd album that came out, and Drake there was a line that Drake had in his feature, and the line was like 44 45 these guys washed up
4 or 5 summers.
No, but like 44 45 these guys washed up. Ye ain't doing shit to me, this shit set in stone, which is like, I don't know, it's not like that hard of a jab, but like I guess that really set Kanye off. So he was like literally like posting Drake's address on Instagram and being like, you will never fucking recover, you listen to me, you piece of shit, like on Instagram. So yeah, so going into the third listen, there was this beef kind of reemerging, and there was the third event, but this time this third event was in Chicago. The album still didn't drop after the third event, and then all of a sudden the album dropped a few days later, like in the dead of the morning on Sunday,
right before we started recording last week.
Yeah,
right.
dude.
So it was
We
kind of
willed
like
it into existence.
it was kind of like a really big roller coaster. And to be honest, like I'll give my thoughts on the rollout. I thought it was like fucking annoying, to be completely honest. Like I don't get this whole thing with artists of like why did you do an album? I know why he did this whole rollout, because it gets attention. And Kanye and Drake are like masters of like this whole calculated thing. Like all this is calculated.
I was gonna disagree with you because of that reason.
Yeah, but it's just, to me, it's like kind of obnoxious. Like, you know, because it seems like from the outside, if you don't know like how these guys operate, that like, oh, like Kanye's just like pushing, like he's just like completely like temperamental, and he's just like pushing the album off and not really like, the album that we were supposed to get in July was supposed to be the album. But like personally, I don't believe that. I think this was all like a publicity stunt from the start. Like I think that he was trying to get a
procrastination project he hadn't even started.
I think he had no intention to release the album in July, and I think he was probably planning on doing like a string of these live events to like keep drawing up hype and craziness on the album, or like attention for the album. But because there's always something, if you pay attention to Kanye releases, there's always something for like he's gonna do some crazy shit that's gonna get everyone's attention, he's either going to say something, he's either going to do something crazy that's going to put him in the spotlight. And this was that this time around. You're never going to get a Kanye album without something crazy happening around it. So I'm kind of sick of it, to be completely honest. Like, I just want him to drop an album without being obnoxious and doing some crazy antics. But what do you guys think?
Yeah, this shit is not
I
fucking new. He did this shit during the life of Pablo, and it was, as a high schooler at the time, it was like the most annoying thing ever because I just wanted new music. And this asshat is like putting his music on streaming and then taking it down to edit it and then like putting it back up and like adding and like this dude is like doing like Google Docs edits while people are listening to this fucking album, and I'm like, bro, like, can we just get the album? Or
Wolves changed a couple of times.
I know, and it was frustrating. I mean, I don't really care that it changed. It was just frustrating that this is the second time like that I can remember him just like bullshitting around with releasing an album.
Yeah. And like the Life of Pablo, like that album dropped, and like that album is different than the album. Like, if you listen to that album now, it's different than the album that came out. Like, there's more songs. There's a lot of the mixing and features have changed. There's features that have been added. There's been songs that have been changed. Like, it's really, really weird. Like, not, like this idea of updating an album after it's been released is really weird. But
yeah, I really don't like that idea, but I do disagree with you guys about the marketing. I think Kanye is a master of marketing, and I think he probably got as many listens as he was gonna get out of this because of what he did. I mean, the like quote unquote weekend numbers aren't gonna be what like CLB was, but I don't think he cares. I think he's about longevity, and I think this is an album that could potentially like stand the test of time, in my opinion. But what do you think, Parker? What was your opinion on the like rollout and everything of Donda?
I honestly never know what to expect out of Kanye. I always just go in thinking that like I just expect Kanye to say some stupid shit or to like push off something or just completely fuck around with it until it's just it's hard for me to even keep up with. Yeah, it's hard for me to keep up with at this point because it's like, oh, what did Kanye do today?
What he does.
Yeah, for real. It's
even the Taylor Swift thing, dude. Like,
because it's a point
he does this for a reason.
Yeah, everything Kanye does can be a point of conversation that you have with like coworkers or like friends or just anybody. Like, did you see what Kanye did today? Like, that just brings more.
He's just a polarizing guy.
Yeah, that just brings more attention to the album release and it benefits him.
And kind of like adding on to like the whole like he's acting like Joker. Like, I think it's starting to get to the point where if you've been kind of like following this at all, it's starting to get like low-key weird, like / like kind of creepy, his like obsession with Drake. Like if you've been following like Kanye for like however many years, this guy is like obsessed with Drake to like
a very slowly descending into madness.
Like to a very like strange degree. Like he literally made Watch the Throne because of Drake, and like he literally is doing this weird shit, like posting his address and like like all this like weird stuff. I'm like, dude, what like why are you so like scared of Drake? Like
that is people. A little weird.
Like and like acting like a fucking weirdo about it. Like, I don't know, like what do you guys? That's like the weirdest thing about this whole situation, like his weird obsession with Drizzy.
It's weird. I don't get it. I mean, it seems like Kanye thinks that maybe it happened. I don't know. Maybe Drake had a weekend out with Kim. I don't know. That's what it seems like. Is that what the beef is about?
Where does this come from? Because yesterday Drake was like guest hosting a Sirius XM show, and he like played the unreleased Andre 3000 song with Kanye like on air.
Drake did?
Yeah.
What?
So
I didn't know that.
like, okay, first off, like this is like I can like grab like a few different things from this. One, like I think Kanye has been like scared of Drake to some extent. I don't know why, like for a long point in his career. Like
Scared
there's
of
been
him.
multiple, yeah, because like he's talked on multiple times that him and Jay-Z made Watch the Throne because they were like afraid of Drake, which is a really weird thing. And then after that, like, do you guys remember the poopity scoop, the scoopity poop
Yeah.
song?
Yeah, he made that so Drake couldn't use that beat. That's like the
Yeah.
funniest thing ever.
Yeah, like he
Oh, that's why he did it?
yeah, well like he gave that beat, he gave the beat to Drake, like, yo, Drake, like use this. Like you can have this beat. And then he like put that song out so Drake couldn't use it. Like
So
this
that
weird
song was a meme.
yeah, it was like a meme to just shit on Drake, but it like to just make it so Drake couldn't use the beat that Kanye gave him, which is like it's just like this weird like, dude, what is this shit that you're pulling?
Did Drake even ask for the beat in the first place? Like,
Probably not.
does he care?
Probably not. He's like, here, man.
Like
I made
Kanye
this
probably
for
had to
you.
like sales pitch Drake into using the beat in the first place, and Drake's like, all right, maybe. And then Kanye
He's
was just like,
"Poop-de-dee-scoop."
poop, de-scoop, poop,
Yeah.
de-whoop.
And then like the culmination of it was obviously like because that he told like Pusha T that Drake had a son, and then he obviously got exposed for that, which was like the big
Bonkers.
so like I don't know, to me it feels like really one-sided. It seems like Kanye is just constantly trying to like jump in at Drake or something.
Well, and the
Like
funny
Drake's
thing
just
is,
like, dude, just let me live my life.
the
bro. I
funny
don't
thing is,
care.
like, Drake doesn't even have to do anything because like Kanye broke the 1 day streams record on Apple Music, and then 3 days later Drake broke it. Like he just breaks all of Kanye's records right when they get set because he released his album so close. Like
Drake stealing the spotlight from Kanye West is making him angry.
Pretty
It
much.
might
And
be.
like I actually remember this other thing too, like Kanye had like a mental like breakdown on Twitter because he heard Sicko Mode. He heard
Really?
Sicko Mode. He listened to Sicko Mode, and do you guys remember that? He like had this meltdown on Twitter, like freaking the fuck out, like because he finally listened to Sicko Mode and realized it was a diss song about him. Like, and he was
What was
like,
it?
wait, you mean "Out Like a Light" by Drake? That song?
yes. Specifically the "Out Like a Light" part. Like there's a bunch of lines
Really?
in that where yeah, like checks over stripes. That's like one like line that I can think of.
Oh
And,
yeah.
like I'm trying to think. I'm trying to remember the line.
767.
Uh,
This ish got double
oh.
vengeance.
"Out Like a Light."
like I think the part where it's like crept down the block, made a right. Like I guess it's like
Yeah.
him saying like he's like creeping like down on like Kanye Street. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. Like
And then
'cause
he's
I
like,
guess-
turn or like Jesus Christ.
yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, yay.
The checks over stripes thing is like a Nike over Adidas, but because Kanye Yeezus, or the whole Adidas
Oh, yeah.
shoe line thing. But so Kanye was like having a mental breakdown over that. So I don't know, like it's just so silly. But I guess besides the rollout, maybe we could get into the actual album.
Yeah, absolutely. So do you guys think that like at the end of the day, after the first, even second listen, do you guys think that Donda was worth the build up? I'll start us off because I've listened to it probably like 5 or 6 times, even once on shuffle, because I like to shake things up a bit, even though you shouldn't really do that. I think most people don't listen to albums on shuffle, but here and there I do. I think at the end of the day, and after a few listens, I think that it is worth the build up. I actually think this one's really good. I probably like, and yeah, it's a really long album, but if you subtract the part 2s, because they're basically the same song, just with a different feature, if you subtract those, I actually like more than half the songs on the album. So, I mean, I think this is an album that like will age like a fine wine. Because like I don't think you guys loved Yeezus at first, but it grew on you. Um, I think that's gonna happen with this album. I think it's really good. I want to get the explicit version. Like, when does that drop?
There's not going to be an explicit version.
Really? I
Yeah.
was starting to wonder. Huh.
Yeah, because well, you know how like Andrew was talking about how that Andre 3000 Kanye West song came out. I
Yeah.
guess the reason it didn't get put on the album was because it's explicit, and Andre 3000 didn't know that Kanye wanted to make a clean album. So like
That's
it didn't
actually
make the
like the
cut.
first time I've seen that in hip hop for like a while, where they will go solely clean.
It's a big statement.
Yeah, it is.
Like, that's cool. That's really cool. But I think that Donda was worth the buildup, honestly. I think it's an album that, like, especially a few tracks are going to resonate with us, especially us four, for years to come. I mean, we still reference songs off of The Life of Pablo, and I don't think that was even close to as good as this, personally.
Damn, that's a hot take.
I know. And usually I'm not the biggest Kanye fan, but what do you think, Ursel? Do you think that Donda was worth the buildup?
uh I'll say this, maybe I'll kind of like recontextualize that, and that like I think the build up added to the hype of the album for sure. Was it worth the build up? Uh um I'm gonna say no, because like I guess I'm looking at it as like this was such a like obnoxious buildup for an album that I think is like probably like middle tier Kanye, but like I think I don't think it was worth the buildup, but I think the buildup definitely added to the experience of the album, because I part of the experience of this album for me kind of does connect to the rollout of it, like with the live events, like you know those shots of like Kanye floating into the fucking air, like
I mean,
like
like, the Hurricane performance was pretty cool, I
yeah,
thought.
yeah, exactly. And I thought it added to like kind of um the gospely, like holy, whole, like you know, lordly nature of the album.
The
But
godly nature.
yes, the holier that thou, the like present from Jesus himself, this album is.
That's kind of
uh,
how he sounds throughout the album.
I know, and I have my thoughts on Kanye's religious nature, but I'll get into that later. But yeah, I'll say this: I don't think it was worth the build up, but I think the build up added to it. I don't know if that's a weird answer, but um, yeah, that's
I
kind of
get
my
it.
take. What
Yeah,
about
that makes sense.
what about you
Makes
guys?
sense to me.
Yeah, so the buildup was kind of just obnoxious to me, in my opinion. It was for all the hype that we were hearing about like before this album came out. Like I'd expect it to be After Hours level, you know? Like there was just so much hype.
That was an amazing rollout. Talk about amazing rollout. But go on.
But yeah, you'd expect it to really be top tier, like with how much you're hearing about it, how much Kanye's like putting it out there. And in my opinion, this album's super top heavy. Like the songs I like on this album are really good and I will listen to for years, but there's a lot of church music in my opinion on this
What do
album.
you mean by top heavy? Can you explain? Sorry.
Like the songs that I like are really good. Like I will be listening to for a long time. Like the top songs of this album are like really good. But everything else in my opinion seems very preachy church music. Um we'll get into that like when we talk later on like each individual song, of course, but
I mean, yeah, like
I
Jesus Lord is really, it's a really long song. It's
yeah,
like 9 minutes,
I just
which is crazy.
I was just expecting a lot more considering all the hype that was on the rollout. I was kind of expecting some like groundbreaking shit, to be honest with you, and to be honest, I don't think was all that like changing of the genre, like you know. It's
I don't know.
I don't think it was worth all that hype, but time will only tell.
What about you,
I
Andrew? Or John?
I want
go
to
on.
say quick. I want to say really quick that I actually really like the gospel vibe. Like, I don't necessarily like the fact that throughout the entire album, it seems like Kanye is basically suggesting that he's like a direct descendant of Jesus Christ himself,
Yeah,
which I don't agree with, but like the gospel-y sound with the hip hop, I think is a really good idea. And I think
yeah.
that like idea could carry out
To like
potentially
kind of,
throughout.
I guess I'll kind of add like onto that just because you mentioned it, John. Like to me, his like religious nature kind of seems like retroactive. Like, oh yeah, like let me do all this stuff, and then like after the fact, I'll think about how like God did it. You know,
Yeah,
like it's kind
exactly.
of like he's molding his own decision making and like around like the holy nature of like or like he's adding like holy aspects to like what he's already done as opposed to like moving forward in like a holier way. I don't know,
Right.
like
Like he's done miracles on me. Even at the end
yeah,
of the album, like I don't know.
yeah, yeah, like so I don't know, like because we all know Kanye has a big ego, and yeah, like I mean he has an album called Yeezus, you know, like there there like there's I don't know if I totally buy into like this holier than thou image he's got going because I think it's not coming from exactly the most holiest of places.
I
But
agree.
uh but uh Andrew, what about what are your thoughts on the was it worth the hype?
Um, honestly, after listening to it, probably not. I feel like this album's pretty much background music minus 6 tracks. Nothing really stands out to me. I also think it's just, I think it's too long. But well, I
Well,
mean, we'll
like
get into that later.
I think like I guess kind of more general thoughts for me is like uh I think one thing I think is interesting is we kind of had like opposite reactions because I think Andrew really liked this album the most out of all of us at the beginning. And then I think me and John maybe started liking it more and Andrew liked it less. But I think general thoughts, I think this album is like a shittier Life of Pablo. Uh that's probably like because the Life of Pablo also had this like gospely kind of it was like rap, but also kind of gospely. Um this album is leagues better than Jesus is King, I'll say that. But
Oh, for
uh
sure.
yeah, but
Yeah.
and that's part of the reason why I think this album is getting a lot of more positive reception is because it's coming off if it seems a little bit more of a return to form for Kanye because his last album was bad, like it was bad. So I feel like that's where a lot of the positive reception is coming from, but or like some more of the positive reception or people that are enjoying this album. But yeah, like those are my general thoughts, I guess.
Well, I mean, honestly, let's just get on into the like our thoughts on long ass albums because Andrew, I know that you touched on that just now and how you don't really appreciate how long Donda is. What are your thoughts on long ass albums in general?
I mean, I don't have a problem with long ass albums if they're good.
Uh, I figured, yeah, I figured you would say something.
I
like
mean,
that.
when it takes me like 5 commutes to like listen to a whole album, I'm like, holy shit, man! Like this is a long
It's
album. Like,
long. It is.
I
Long.
mean, I don't have a problem with it. I mean, like, how many songs is Trilogy? I mean, that's
30.
30, but they're all good.
31. Yeah, I mean, the album is an hour and 49 minutes.
That's the longest album I've ever listened to.
Same.
It's the longest
Like,
one I've ever listened to this many times.
That's not a compilation because Trilogy is a combination of 3 albums.
Yeah, I wouldn't consider I wouldn't consider Trilogy to even be one album.
Trilogy wasn't even meant to be an album in the first place. So
Yeah,
exactly.
That wasn't its
And it's his
original
best one.
kind of message. Exactly.
Well,
There's a
like,
lot of part twos in here, though. And one of
Yeah.
the part twos is Jesus Lord, and it's 11 minutes and 31 seconds.
which
is
is
insane.
ridiculous.
That's insane.
In my opinion, like for long albums, yeah, anything over 20 songs is like probably too long. That's like almost in almost every case that I can think of. I like maybe yeah, like besides Trilogy, any album that's like 20 songs or over, like that's like almost like a point deduction in my book right there. Like
He
that's
goes.
like yeah, like that's already like okay, you're like losing a point in like a full on point in my book right there because it just I don't it just makes it just kind of a chore to listen through in one go or like just a you know if it doesn't feel as cohesive like I don't think that
I could
a
see that.
long I don't think any long track list has ever done any album any favors besides like financially for the artist but not like in terms of the actual listening experience and it's weird too because Kanye's last like few albums were his shortest ever like Kids See Ghosts, Jesus King, Yay. Those are all albums that are like 20 or less than 30 minutes long. And it's really weird to see him go from that to his longest album ever. I was one of the people that definitely thought those albums were too short. So it's kind of funny to see now me complaining about him releasing an album that's too long.
Balance,
But
He's got to
Kanye,
find the middle
balance.
ground.
yeah, there's definitely a
We
middle
just
ground.
need that nice 10 to
15.
12 track sweet spot.
No,
Exactly.
15. I think there's 15 decent songs on this
Yeah.
album.
And I mean, like, I'll talk like we'll talk about this with CLB next week too. But like, I think both of these albums have very similar problems, and I think the length of the track listing is a very common issue between both of these albums. And yeah, this album's way too long. Like, every time I re-listen to this album, there's always a point where I look at my phone and I'm like, yeah, I wonder how far I am. Oh, yeah, I still have 12 fucking songs left. Like, it's like,
I've been listening to this for like 2 days. How many songs do I have left?
yeah, and yeah, it's just there's a point where you'd like if you're trying to listen to it from start to finish, where it does start dragging on, in my opinion. And any long album, I think is almost never a good idea. I've never listened to an album over 20 songs that I feel like the length has contributed to the greatness of that album. But what about you, Parker?
I agree with you guys like almost 100% on this. It's just way 27 songs, bro, and 4 of them are completely like the same song.
It actually is. Yeah, he just
Yeah.
adds to it.
And also like in my opinion, there's long stretches of good in this album, but there's also long stretches of stinky. And so I just feel like there's long stretches where I'm like, can I hear something like hype, something that's going to build me up, make me like excited?
And there's not really a whole lot of that.
Yeah,
there really isn't. Off the Grid.
Yeah, like honestly, I gotta have if a song has or if an album has 27 songs, I need some hype or I need some energy because man, I just start to get so bored throughout a certain point of the album. I also like Drake does the same thing, like with a few of his albums, where they're just far too long, and I just can't fully enjoy the experience of listening through the album because I just get so bored.
I think we all thought that Views originally was too long, but in retrospect, I don't think it was.
Well, Views had like so many good stretches of good music that you kind of can overlook the length of that album.
Yeah.
Was it like what 17 tracks?
Yeah, it's under that 20 track mark.
That's the funniest part. I remember people were shitting on Views. Yeah, it was 20 songs long. For it being 20 songs, like that is not criminal at all compared to how long some albums are today.
27.
I fully enjoyed the experience of listening through those 20 songs on Views because there was some hype, there was some excitement. It kept me awake throughout the course of the album.
Okay,
So-
here's my thing. The part twos should have just been the part ones and subtract the part twos. And then I don't think it's a criminal album.
Like
Or,
23
I mean,
songs?
I don't think yeah.
I still think that'd be
I don't
too
think the
long.
length would be criminal. Well, I think that it's cohesive. I actually think that the entire album is pretty cohesive, but I don't think that the length does it any favors. But I do think it's cohesive. It's a little bit too long.
I think it
agree.
has like a definite vibe of like, it's like kind of dark or like kind of depressing, but it's also kind of got that like gospel-y sound. It's kind of like teetering between those two things. But I'm kind of, my main thing is kind of one of my main complaints about the album, like viewing it from a critical lens, is like, what is kind of the overarching like theme or like connecting tissue of all these songs? Because I feel like it jumps between a bunch of like that. First of all, the album is called Donda, but I feel like not a lot of the album is actually like, I feel like dedicated to Donda. Like, yeah, there's
No,
like
yeah,
there's
I don't think so either, but
like there's that opening track which I have come to learn is a representative of her heartbeat right before she passed away, which is tragic but also beautiful in its own way. I
yeah, that's
personally
really
don't know.
artistic.
I personally don't know how I feel about that, but I mean, like, I think it's a beautiful ode at the end of the day. And then we have song like the actual song Donda, like in the middle of the album, featuring Ariana Grande secretly. And like that one I thought was actually one of the weakest songs on the album. And then I feel like outside of that, like I'm struggling to think of things. I feel like a lot of the subject material on some of Kanye's raps are more delegated to like his divorce with Kim Kardashian. And I feel like, yeah, like, you know, like songs like Believe What I Say, like that's about Kim. Like, like like I feel like a lot of the album is more Kim related, but I don't know. I felt like, yeah.
I think the entire album in general is just like Kanye coming to terms with who he is in his mind. And
Yeah,
that does
and
jump around a little bit.
yeah, and like, yeah, it's funny. There's a lot of, we'll get into this next week, but I feel like there's a lot of comparison points between this album and CLB, honestly, in terms of that too, like coming to
Yeah.
terms. But yeah, like that's kind of my thing. I felt like it was a little kind of all over the place with the themes as well. But yeah, like I guess Andrew, what did you think?
I mean, I think it's just like his past few albums have just made me like not really vibe with him. Like I feel like you said, like he says it's dedicated to Donda, but I kind of feel like he just found a bunch of unreleased songs he recorded and just threw them all together with a couple of Dondas sprinkled in there. I mean, nothing about this album besides Donda Chant and Donda really feels like it's like dedicated to her. Like,
Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like I feel like it jumps between Donda, Kim, and like praising God. Like which one is it?
I think it's more this idea that Donda shaped him to be who he is and shaped him to believe what he believes about himself.
Yeah.
And like she gave him the power to, I don't know. Kanye is a weird guy.
But I think one thing that like kind of adds onto this project is like and this also the other thing that like kind of makes me question the Donda theme, and I kind of want you guys to jump in because I think this is something we can all talk about, is I feel like the features outshine Kanye on this album. And I feel like I think that there's so many songs that I think about, like, okay, obviously let's think of
Hurricane.
Yeah, obviously Hurricane. What is the part? Yeah. Hurricane, what is the part that I like on it? The best part. It's the weekend part. Like let's look at like Pure Souls. The part I like about it, the part I really like on it is Roddy Rich. Like they're like
Praise
Remote
God.
Control, I like Young Thug.
yeah, Young Thug. Yeah, but I mean that's one thing to praise on the album. I feel like
Right.
a lot of the features are bringing their A game, like I feel like they're bringing like their best shit, like, and that's like
Yeah.
one thing I've always loved. like
But in
like
comparison to Kanye.
yeah, and I think Kanye is definitely better on this album than his most recent albums. Like there's some parts where he raps hard, like Off the Grid. He goes hard on that song. And I want to just give a shout out. I think hardest feature, the two hardest features on this album, obviously Hurricane, with The Weeknd, beautiful vocals, but like hardest rap feature on this album, that is gonna go to 5 Foreign on Off the Grid.
Absolutely, dude.
5 Foreign goes hard as fuck on Off the Grid. Like this dude has been like, I think I saw a tweet about this, like 5 Foreign has been hiding his power level up until this point. Like this dude went
Off the Grid is a banger track.
Yeah, and I love that song. And also kind of telling, I think the feature that is the one person that's the most prevalent on this album is Playboy Cardi. And
A lot of influence.
honestly, yeah, and I mean, I'll be honest, I didn't love Whole Lot of Red, but I do like me some Playboy, and I do enjoy his features as well. Like I love his ad libs on Off the Grid, like the yeah.
I honestly really enjoyed Praise God with Travis Scott. I thought that went really hard as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, let's just honestly get into our favorite like features.
Yeah.
Jinx again.
Yeah.
How about you, Andrew?
My favorite you want my favorite features or favorite songs?
Honestly, both. Well, favorite
Okay.
features and favorite songs.
I guess those kind of
if your
go hand in
favorite
hand.
features are yeah.
I mean, obviously my favorite feature is The Weeknd and Hurricane. I mean, I think that's like god tier, one of the best Weeknd features for sure. It's up there with FML as one of my favorite Weeknd features of all time.
Both Kanye songs.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what it is about those two when they get together, but Jesus.
Yeah.
I would debate that
Jesus.
Future and The Weeknd are better together. Nah, I'm just kidding. They're both really good though.
Yeah, go on, Andrew. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I mean, I hate that. Okay, so I'll just give a disclaimer. I have 5 songs from this 27 song marathon that actually made it to a playlist. Only 2 of them had features, which are Hurricane and New Again, which I hate that I like New Again because Chris Brown's in it. And fuck Chris Brown. But honestly, I think my favorite songs are just the ones where it's just Kanye, and I don't know why, but I have like Believe What I Say, Heaven and Hell, and Come to Life. Those all are just Kanye songs, and they're my favorite.
Interesting.
So I don't know. I mean, I like Cardi. I'm not a huge fan of like many of the features on here. I mean, I think Jay-Z's verse in Jail is pretty good, and I think Jail is a pretty good song too. But only because
I
of the
love Jail.
Ability. I mean,
Wait, what's the
there's songs that
Are there like TikToks
Jail's
about it?
fun.
Yeah, there are. Yeah, there's
Are there?
TikTok trends about Jail, Junior.
Junior.
I mean, Junior Watanabe. I'm like,
That is a
that song is
fun song.
garbage.
there's
no,
so many
it's
songs
garbage,
that are
but
like,
it gets stuck in your head.
no, there's song. Okay, this is what I think of this album is. There's a lot of songs that are like garbage, but they're just like funny as hell. Like Jail is not a good song in my opinion. Junior is not a
Guess
very
who's
good song,
going
but they're
down
hilarious.
tonight?
They're fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
I mean-
like I can't imagine Kanye doing anything to get him. Well, maybe, but to get going to jail. Yeah, who's going to jail? I guess that's the real question.
Who is
That's
going
a
to
real
jail,
question.
Kanye? I actually want to know. Is it you?
I think that. I mean, I think the best songs on the album are solo Kanye songs, which is maybe an unpopular opinion, but I mean, based off of what I heard and what I like, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of a whole lot of his features. So
Damn.
Not
Yeah,
even
I think the
Moon?
features like
Not
I
even
mean,
Moon
Moon's
with
all
Don
right.
Toliver and Kid Cudi?
Moon's all right. I'm not. There's just like there's so many songs that I just like listen. I'm like, this is just not good. I mean, my favorite feature on the whole album might be the last 5 seconds of Remote Control. I mean, you know,
damn.
With Young Thug? Or is it Young Thug?
no, it's
Yeah.
the Gabba Shiva. It's my favorite feature, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but seriously, I'm not a huge fan of the features on this album. I like just the solo Kanye songs because I mean I like Kanye. I don't like the Baby and Lil Durk and Lil Baby. Not a huge fan.
Not a fan of the babies.
No, sorry. Famously anti-baby podcast here.
Well, I guess
Nah.
what is it?
We don't. Not everyone agrees.
I think
Yeah.
What is it? Yeah, favorite features, I would definitely say The Weekend on Hurricane. I best feature 5 Year Foreign. I also think that I think is it Voss? Vori. I think Vori is good on Jonah. I think Lil Durk has a weird verse on that. Young Thug, like I said, I like all the features. Worst feature by far though, and I need to mention the song, is fucking, and this is the worst song on the album, is Tell the Vision, featuring Pop Smoke. I don't know what Mike Dean or whoever the fuck was mixing the song that was thinking, because this song just sounds stupid. Like this song is just bad. Like it sounds like I can kind of get what they were going for with like maybe it was like this kind of like ghostly vibe what they're trying to do because Pop's like R.I.P. Pop Smoke, but
It's so dude.
this
It's so stupid. It
The
sounds
original
like
version
yeah,
of
but
the original version of Tell the Vision is like a million times better than this crap.
yeah, the original version of Television, which is on the Pop Smoke album that came out like last month, is a banger. But and that version has Kanye on it. So I don't know what he was thinking by taking that same title and same Pop Smoke verse and just making it distorted as shit. Like
Yeah.
that was definitely the worst feature and the worst song on the album. And I don't know. I don't think it was a good homage to Pop Smoke. I don't think it worked out if that's what he was trying to do. But what about
agree.
you, John? Best features, least favorite features?
Best features by far would be Off the Grid with Playboy Cardi and 5EO Foreign. That song just goes off. I'm gonna be banging that a lot in the car or during work. Hurricane. I think that I almost like Off the Grid more than Hurricane. I feel like Off the Grid has more replay value for me personally.
The bass in that song
yeah.
is nuts.
It
And I love
just goes off, dude.
I love the drill beat that they're rapping over. The
I know, it's so good. I don't know. It's like it's addictive. The song is
definitely
addictive.
has one of Kanye's best rap performances on the album.
I agree. Obviously Hurricane is really good. Lil Baby's good in it. The Weeknd's good in it. I actually like his little that's actually grown on me. I probably, even though I've only heard the album probably 5 times, which is actually ridiculous. I've heard Hurricane like probably 12 to 15 times, and that his verse has definitely grown on me. It's very like memorable to me. Praise God's pretty good with Travis Scott. And I would say for stinky features, definitely Tell the Vision is terrible. I mean, it's only like 2 minutes anyway, but it's terrible. Junya is bad, but like I can't
Full
get it
five
out of my
summers.
head. Full
Full
five
five
summers.
summers.
Full five summers. Like it's very quotable, but it's also like stupid.
It's a memeable
It's-
song.
It's a very memeable song.
It sounds like a
but
whole lot. It sounds like, to be honest though, it sounds like a whole lot of red, like leftover.
Yeah.
Like it's
The crumbs under the table after you eat
Yeah.
a
Literally.
whole lot of red.
it sounds like a Playboy. It literally sounds like a Playboy Cardi song.
Yeah.
But it's fine. But I think it's one of the stinkier features on the album. But definitely Television is terrible. I think Pure Souls isn't that good either.
You don't like the truth is only what you got? Or
This is
what is it?
dumb. I don't know.
I love that. That's like one of my favorite features on the album, actually.
Really?
Yeah, because I love that like hook. The truth is only what you get away with. I don't know. But go
That
on.
ain't me cheap.
That ain't it. Cheap.
But New Again's pretty good, but yeah, I think we all hate Chris Brown, and like I'd like to just see him fail.
Yeah, I think he should just be shunned from music at this point. I don't get
Literally get him out of here. No one likes Chris Brown. What were your favorite and least favorite features though, Parker?
Yeah, so honestly, my favorite feature of this album, of course, is Hurricane. That The Weeknd never disappoints me, man. I think I jizz every time I hear The Weeknd sing. But off the grid, I actually really enjoy Playboy in that song. I think that just overall goes very hard. Praise God with Travis Scott is also a very, very good feature.
I'm off the grid.
Also, Moon I can appreciate as well. I'm a very big Don Toliver fan.
Moon's a vibe.
Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't.
Yes.
I meant to mention Moon.
Yes, I'm a very big Don
There's just so
Toliver
many
fan.
songs on the damn album.
Yeah, but for the stinky features, I am definitely gonna have to go New Again because I hate Chris Brown. I just don't want to hear a song with him ever again, to be honest with you.
I hate Chris Brown.
Anti-Chris Brown podcast.
The funny thing is, I don't even remember him on that song.
I don't
Like-
either.
Like,
yeah, it's not too prevalent, but you can still get some really good vibes off of him.
you can get some good vibes off of him. Weren't you just
yeah.
saying fuck Chris Brown?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I thought we were talking about Moon. Sorry.
Oh no.
Yeah, no, fuck Chris Brown. But I thought Jonah was really shitty, like just overall. Like the vocals were awful.
I actually
it
like
hurt-
that. I don't know why.
I
It
know
hurt-
you like that. I didn't like Jonah either.
It hurt the fuck out of my ears while I was listening to it. I'm just like, what am I? This is terrible. But overall, the features I think did a very good job on this album of kind of complementing the vibe, but there's quite a few that do stink it up. I will say that.
I feel like Kanye's shown us lately that he needs features.
Yes.
I
Well, I
mean,
think
that's what he's shown us over the last
I think
few years.
I think Kanye is like a really good architect. Like I think like very much kind of, and this is where I think right now he very much reminds me of like Travis Scott in that like he can really bring together all these features and all these people and like really kind of build this cohesive like vibe or like vision. He can really bring the best out of people in terms of their features, as you can like tell for a lot of these. Well, at least for me, I know you guys, some of you guys don't, like Andrew, you don't like the features, but like he seems like he's this architect where he's taking all these features and he's making, the production is really good and he's really putting together this full project. But I think compared to Travis, I actually think like Travis is able to hold his own a lot of the times with the features. I feel like Kanye, besides the songs in like probably the earlier half of this album, I feel like Kanye has a tendency to get outshined sometimes by the features. But like on Hurricane, like on like Pure Souls, or some of the other songs, or like Moon, or like
That's
Off the
why I
Grid.
like Off the Grid so much, because I actually don't think he gets totally. I mean, 5EO Foreign is ridiculous, but
Yeah.
I don't
Or
think
like,
he gets totally outshined.
and like when I think about some of these songs, I don't even remember Kanye on them. Like Praise God. When I think of Praise God, I just think of Travis Scott and Baby Keem, which, oh, I forgot to mention, Baby Keem definitely has one of the worst features on the album. Like that shit is like that. Hold up. Before we move on any further, I need to pull up the lyrics for for Praise God. Please let me do this, because
Okay.
there. Okay, here we go. Praise God, because because Baby Keem's like lyrics. Okay, here it is. Still on side, huh? Still outside, huh? Attention. Still outside, huh? Still outside. Tame Impala. Tame Impala. Stay outside, huh? Still outside. Still outside. Like,
How much do you think he get paid for that?
dude, this
How
guy.
much do you think he got paid for that?
This is Kendrick's cousin. This is Kendrick's cousin.
Dude,
Baby
and,
Keem has not shown us too much yet.
dude, low key though, on his song with Kendrick, like his verse goes pretty fucking hard, and it's like kind of a shame that his feature sucks ass on this album.
Yeah, it's like incomprehensible, and he like ruins the. I feel like the momentum that Travis.
Tame Impala.
Tame Impala.
Why is he? Yeah, why is he saying? Is he like trying to call out Tame Impala or?
Well, let's see what Genius says. Okay, here we go. Baby Keem name drops Tame Impala, a psychedelic alternative rock project of Australian multi-instrumentalist musician Kevin Parker. Wait, what? Okay, why he doesn't even,
It's just
yeah,
a name drop. That's it.
yeah. Tame Impala has become widely successful over the decade, even collaborating with Travis Scott on Skeletons on Astroworld. Wow. Okay. Thanks for the insight. I didn't know he was
Right.
calling out Tame Impala. Andrew, I wanted to ask you, what do you think of the Travis Scott feature? Because I feel like it sounded very much like that sounded like old Travis, like days before Rodeo Travis.
Yeah, yeah, it did kind of. I mean, I like this song wasn't really one of my favorites, but I mean,
Same.
I thought Travis's verse was pretty good. I mean, I always anytime I can get some old school Travis, I'm always down for it.
Yeah. And then I guess did we like I know we talked about favorite features, but did we want to talk about like our favorite songs specifically? Like maybe the songs we added, like shout those out.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I can go ahead and start because I've got my list up here.
Yeah, and then maybe we can talk about why we like those songs.
So I've added Off the Grid, obvious reasons. Hurricane, also obvious reasons. Praise God. I mean, Travis Scott goes off. That's a really good song. I Believe What I Say, which is an only Kanye song.
Mhm.
Keep My Spirit Alive. Junior for the meme. And then I have Moon, Remote Control. And that's actually it of songs that I put on a playlist. But I know I like more songs than that. But those are songs that I've added to a playlist that I feel like I am going to repeat a decent amount.
Yeah.
That's 8. Or no, that's 9. I've got 9 songs. Out of the 27, that's only 1/3.
Yeah. So
I would say the best song out of those is either Off the Grid or Hurricane. But I mean, we've talked about those a decent amount. I actually can't even remember what Believe What I Say sounds like at the moment.
it's like one last sparkle to follow.
It's definitely the
in
most
my
vibe song
life.
on the album.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It kind of reminds me of Flashing Lights a little bit. Just a hair. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Podcast taken down for copyright claims.
Copyright.
It's that and Remote Control are like one of the few like I feel like upbeat moments on the album. You know?
Right.
and I like Remote Control because it's like very like
It's playful.
yeah, it's playful, even though like the lyrics don't make the most sense. Got it on Remote Control like a CEO. I'm not totally sure. Like
I mean, CEO, maybe they got the
they just
puppeteer.
got everything. The puppeteers.
puppeteer. Yeah.
I mean, Kanye is the CEO. But I guess my songs that I added, I have a tendency when I like songs, like when I like an album, I tend to give it the benefit of the doubt and add a few more songs. So I have 11 out of the 27. I added Jail. So like my thoughts on Jail. I actually love the song. I love the guess who's going to jail tonight. Like I love that little hook. And I love the guitar riff throughout the whole album. I actually also love Jay-Z's verse on this. Kind of makes me really like I do wish like we're gonna hopefully get a Watch the Throne 2
You need
coming
it.
at
Hey,
I would
he's
love
angry at Drake again. It could happen.
yeah, but I would like really like Jail because I like the guitar riffs and I like the kind of the main hook. Off the Grid obviously is just a banger. I love the trap beat over it. Hurricanes I also added because it's just like I really love the kind of angelic nature that The Weeknd brings to it. And I also like the when the choir comes in behind The Weeknd, but it doesn't stay. Like it kind of like cuts off right away, right after The Weeknd starts singing. I kind of like that production effect that's on it. I added Jonah because I actually really like Bori's feature on it. I also added Okay. I actually think Yachty has a fire verse on this song. Believe What I Say, yeah, solo Kanye song, but I really enjoy it because it's one of the more upbeat parts of the album. Like a little shining moment. Same with Remote Control. I added that for the same reason. Then Moon. I think Don Toliver is going to be super big, and I'm a big Don Toliver fan, like Parker. And obviously Kid Cudi is fantastic. And they both bring their A game, and it's more of a like slower, vibier song. Heaven and Hell, I like. It's just really kind of aggressive. I think Heaven and Hell though has that kind of part at the end where he's like screaming, and is Heaven and Hell like does it have a feature? I'm trying to remember. No, it doesn't. Okay, that's what I thought. I like Pure Souls because I think Roddy Ricch also has one of the best features on the album. And then my 11th song I added was actually Jail Part 2 because I actually think the I mean fuck the baby, but I actually do think his feature is good on it. So sorry guys. But so those are my songs and kind of my thoughts on the songs that I like. I think the reason I didn't add it, like the songs I don't like, right? It's not that I don't like the other 20, the other 16 songs on the album. It's just that to me, a lot of the other songs, they start blending in with each other. Like let me like okay, here, God Breathe, I don't like. Donda Chant, that's just a like that's not even really a song. Junia it just sounds like a play like a fucking whole lot of red left off, like left over.
Junior's fun. Come on, man.
24 kind of seems like a rehash of like 30 hours from The Life of Pablo. Donda, I just couldn't get on with that. And then I think I think a good way to summarize my thoughts on the album is I think the first half of this album is a lot stronger than the second half. The second half, a lot of the songs
God Breathed. God Breathed is the worst song.
Yeah, God Breathed. Yeah, I don't like. The second half of the album, I think and this is where long track lists start becoming an issue. Is like, I think the second half of this album drops in quality by a lot. It does have its highlights, like I think "Come to Life" is a beautiful song. I think "Pure Souls," the Roddy Ricch cover, is great. But then I think there's a stretch from like Donda to "Lord I Need You," which is like 6 songs where I think the album really slogs. And then come like No Child Left Behind. I like the "He's done miracles on me," but
yeah, dude,
I love that.
That stays in my head.
Yeah, like I love that line, but that's also like that song or that line and "No Child Left Behind."
Those are the only two lines said in the whole song, and it's just become it's a little repetitive, so I don't love it. So I think my kind of takeaway from the songs I added are, I think the first half of this album is a lot stronger than the second half of this album. I think the second half of this album, a lot of the songs blend together and kind of drag. And then also, I think he should have just figured out what the hell he wanted to do with the features on the part twos, because I
Exactly,
think
dude.
they add a lot of unnecessary bloat to this album's runtime. But that's kind of my breakdown of the songs I like and the songs I don't like, and kind of track list as a whole. What about you, Andrew? What song did you add? And then
like
kind of
I
give us the
alluded
breakdown
to
from there.
earlier, not too many songs were added. I only had 5 out of the 27, so like that's like less than 20%. Minus Donda chant, not a song. But I had
Can't skip
Hurricane.
it, man. Can't skip it.
I had Hurricane on here. Hurricane, obviously, we got the Weeknd's angelic feature, and then Believe What I Say, just a good vibe song. It bumps pretty hard. I got Heaven and Hell, New Again, and then Come to Life. Those okay, so I looked up New Again. Chris Brown is just like in the background when it's like the Sunday choir or whatever in that song. So I'm not really I love Chris Brown, but he's not really part of the song. So I can live with liking that. I'll count that as a Kanye solo. So like 4 of the 5 songs are like basically Kanye solos. I just was not a huge fan of a lot of the features. I wasn't a huge fan of all the part twos. I don't know. It was kind of a meh album for me personally.
What were the big stinkers
What about
for
you,
you,
Parker?
Andrew?
The big stinkers.
Yeah, what were like the biggest stinkers? If you could pick out a
Television
couple.
is an awful song. Junia,
Yeah.
I only like because of the meme. Otherwise, it's not a very good song.
God Breathe.
God Breathe. That
God
is
Breathe is
honestly like putting that to start like almost turned me off of listening to the rest of the album in some respects. So I was like this is how we're starting, like a chant, and then God Breathe. Like, man.
Oh, God Breathe on it.
Thank God Jail was
God.
there to break up that monotonous hell.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Jail's a little monotonous.
Yeah, it's not great, but that's my thoughts. I'll give
I
my
actually
rating
didn't add Jail.
later. I did not either.
I did.
Yeah, it's
Yikes.
a good meme song for me.
Oh, there's a lot of meme songs in this album.
What about you, Parker? What are your highlight and stinky moments for Donda?
I'm just gonna list the songs that I put on my playlist.
Yeah.
So of course, Off the Grid. I had then Hurricane. Of course, that's like probably the best song on the album. I really like Praise God actually. Because I really do like Travis Scott. Okay actually. I thought this was a banger.
Why don't I remember Lil Yachty in that?
For some
I
reason
don't remember Lil Yachty.
I don't either.
I don't either, but
No, he has a good feature. He has a really good feature.
yeah,
on
I
that.
thought this was a really good song.
Huh.
Then I also have Believe What You Say. This is probably, I think this is the only non-feature song that I have added.
I believe what I say.
Yeah, and Moon. I did add Moon as well. But you guys notice how all the songs I added are in the same kind of cluster on the album? I'm kind of in the same boat as Arsenal, where the first half of this album is just I think it's very quality. Like if you just ended, if you ended this album after Moon, it would be great. This would be an awesome album in my opinion. Like 9 out of 10 status. But then there's the whole second half of the album.
Debatably, it could end at Donda, but that's a good point, Parker.
Yeah, I really
honestly.
But for some of the stinkers, God Breathed is just fucking putrid. Like, what was that?
Oh, damn, you
Worst
dug
song
in the
on the
fucking
album.
dictionary for that one.
Worst song on the
Like,
album.
It's terrible.
Like, I think there's definitely some like stinkers. Like, there's definitely like 3 or 4 stinky songs. But I think my biggest my biggest issue is like this, and especially is like the second half of this album like loses steam fast. Like like I think yeah, definitely like after Moon, this album starts like slowing down a lot, and a lot of the same subject matter keeps popping up, and
Starting with Keep My Spirit Alive,
yeah, a lot,
I
and
think.
some of the songs drag too, like are way too long. Like you know, we talked about that song being 12 minutes long, but there's that other song where like there's that dude talking for like 3 minutes at the end. Like
Yeah.
you know, my dad, he was supposed to come home in eighth grade, still did do it. High school still did happen. College
Right.
still, and I mean, like I get the sentiment, but also like it definitely kills the replay value. But that's my biggest issue is like the second half of the album loses steam, and there's obviously some stinkers sprinkled throughout that really kind of bring the quality down, as well as like I feel like the album doesn't match the title and doesn't match like the theme of the album all that much. But I think
Yeah,
this, I think
literally the
when this
last
album,
song I added was Moon. Like the
yeah,
last song I added was
but
like,
I think like when this album like hits, I think this album hits really good and hits really hard.
I agree.
And I could see this album aging better, but I think it's kind of inconsistent. And I think they could have definitely made some changes with like I think the track listing, maybe rearranging some of the order of the tracks, or obviously cutting it down. This album does not need to be fucking over 20 songs long.
It really
Um,
could be 15, I think.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And we would have had a quality Kanye album, but I think yeah, the length and kind of everything I've mentioned up to this point are my main issues with the project. But I also love that, you know, I think Kanye goes hard on some of the songs. I think like kind of a return to form for him in some aspects. I think the production and the features are fantastic. So it's really like a really mixed bag for me. It feels like to me like this album is it's like a mix of, it's kind of like a worse life of Pablo, but to me this kind of I think this kind of feels like Kanye's like Scorpion to me, where it's like the album is just extremely bloated, but the album's high points are really good. Like kind of that's how I feel about like Scorpion. Like Scorpion is like 25 songs, but man, when that album hits, like Nice for What, Nonstop, like some of the high points on that album, it really hits. And that's how I feel like about this album.
That's my thing too. Like, are we going to remember in 10 years the fact that Donda was 27 tracks long? Maybe, maybe. But are we still going to be bumping Hurricane here and there when it comes up on the playlist? Yeah. Are we still going to
Mhm.
be bumping Off the Grid in 10 years? Potentially.
Yeah.
Like, they're the, I mean, I don't know. Like, in my opinion, I'm gonna let an artist be an artist, and if they want to throw 27, if they want to throw 27 songs on an album and only 10 to 12 of them are, worth going back to, that's fine in my opinion. But I get it. It can give the listener some fatigue, I guess, but like it's not the worst thing in the world to me because in my opinion, you're gonna remember the high points of this album more than you're gonna remember the fact that it's 27 tracks long, almost 2 hours, which is ridiculous. But
Mhm.
like the the fact that it is so long is gonna play into like my rating, but not too terribly much. Not like it's not gonna knock it down like 2 full points or anything.
like I said
Um,
earlier, this album's extremely top heavy. Well, kind of what Arsenal is going into, like how the best
yeah,
moments of this album are very good, but
I think it
that's about
outshines the
it.
bad. I really do think it outshines the bad. Um, like I never need to listen to God Breathed again.
Mhm.
And I'm glad I'm not going to. But I mean, before we go into like rankings and stuff, do you guys think that Donda was industry defining or groundbreaking in any ways, or do you think that only a few tracks are going to live on for the mass majority of people.
Maybe there's a few sounds and kind of rhythmic stuff that could be influenced to other artists, like when they make their albums in the future. But for groundbreaking, that's debatable. It just, I don't
It
see
is
this
early.
It is very early, so there's a lot more of the book to be written. But I think there'll be sounds that are taken out of this that'll be used in the future, which is cool. But industry defining,
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah. As
I think it's too early to tell. But
I think what is going to probably outshine the album is, and what people are going to look at is, I think the rollout was industry defining, because we've never seen someone roll out an album like this where they like keep reintroducing the album and it's like different each time. And dude was doing like a fucking stadium tour without even putting an album out. Like, like that's crazy.
Right, it's memorable.
Yeah,
I think we're all gonna remember that.
Yeah, I think that's what's gonna, and like that's kind of what I was pointing to earlier. I think the rollout is more memorable than the album. The album like it feels kind of like a continuation of a lot of his sounds from the past 5 years or so, with like starting with like Life of Pablo. So like I would say the rollout is what's going to be kind of viewed as like industry defining and something to look at. Like, wow, like this is like, what a way to roll out an album. Like this was like crazy. Even though I was kind of annoyed by it, I'm kind of over like Kanye's antics. It's definitely going to be something like your people like you should take note of.
Right. You guys think this would be Kanye's final album? I think it might be the end of this specific sound potentially, but I don't know if this is going to be Kanye's final album.
Yeah. What is like which one's secular and non-secular? Like which one's religious and not religious? Is secular religious?
I can't remember. Do you know, Andrew?
I think it's secular is religious, I think.
Yeah, I definitely don't think it's the final Kanye album, but I definitely want him to I don't know, like it would be cool if this was his last secular album.
Oh wait, secular one is non-religious, my bad.
Oh, okay. It'd be nice if he started going back to making secular music.
There we go.
Oh yeah. I don't know, like I think the Jesus praise shit is like a little cringe sometimes, but because I just think it's coming from the wrong place. But
That's fair.
What about you, Parker? Do you think this is like, where do you see Kanye going from here, I guess?
I feel like Kanye's still gonna come out with like decent songs and albums in the future. I don't like the direction he's going in, like in general. So there's no predicting Kanye. At the end of the day, it's like he'll do his crazy batshit, behaviors like usual. But it's so hard to predict because Kanye will literally do anything. But yeah, that's really all I have to say.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I could see Kanye actually making this like his last religious sounding album. I think that it could potentially lead some other rappers to play around with this sound, even if they don't make an entire album or half a discography dedicated to that. But I think Kanye will probably go back to like, what I'm hoping is something more like Watch the Throne for his next album. And I think that would be really cool to see too, because that early 2010 sound with rap music in general, I think that era kind of
that extravagant era.
Yeah. Like we need some more banging tracks like that we saw in Watch the Throne from Kanye, in my opinion. But
what about you, Andy?
What do you think, Andrew? Yeah.
I think
You're
I don't
good.
think it'll be his last one. I just feel like this is kind of like a departure where it's like a lot of his albums in the past have been like have like started change in the industry, while Donda feels like it's like a culmination of all the change in the industry. Like I feel like it's a culmination of like every like major, you know, sound and like kind of style in the industry, which is a lot different than, you know, like Yeezus, for example, where it kind of like set the standard. It's like this one is trying to meet the standard, and like it's like kind of like a culmination of everything, I feel like. um I don't think it'll be his last album. I hope it's not his last secular album because I do not really like Christian music, and I agree, are so I don't think it comes from the right place. But 27 tracks is a lot. It just feels like this is like he's like trying to maybe go out with a bang or have one last like hoorah, but I don't know.
Do you
Yeah,
want
that's
to?
kind of why I was I think I put that question in there. I don't remember exactly, but I think the reason I did that was just because it was so long. And you'd think like a really long album would suggest like maybe the end of an era, but I don't know. What were you gonna say, Ursel?
I actually don't even remember. I guess like should we give our final thoughts? You think, or like in our rating?
Yeah, I figured we could all kind of give our final thoughts and then maybe a quick album ranking if you
Yeah, I don't
guys
know if I
wanted
could.
to.
I don't know if I could
I
give
don't know
like
if
a
I could
rank.
do that.
I don't know if I could rank all the Kanye albums right now, but I could probably say like middle, high, low tier where it fits in. But
Oh, I could
Yeah, I
throw
think I can do
a
yeah,
that.
list together with my rating.
yeah. Andrew, then start us off, buddy. Well, give us final thoughts, your pros, cons. You know.
Final thoughts. I think pros. The Kanye solo songs are very good, and I think it's nice to hear Kanye not rap like a complete idiot alone. For once. The cons, too long features. I'm not a huge fan of. So you know what? I am going to give it a 5.5, which is steaming, not great, but not steaming shit. It's just kind of like in the middle. Maybe it'll grow on me. I just like listening to it. I have listened to it 3 times all the way through now, and I just like cannot get more than like 5 or 6 songs that actually like sound good to me. Um, so I give it a 5.5. So I guess on my chart it would go Jesus is King, dead last. I'm also not gonna include like collaborative albums. So these are just Kanye solo boys. So I put Jesus the King as dead last. I put Donda right above that, and then Yay right above that. Like he's like just on like a
What?
hot shit streak
I,
right now.
I think this is better than Yay, but yeah, go on.
I would then go. Let's see. Oh boy, probably Late Registration, and then Life of Pablo, 808s and Heartbreaks, College Dropout, Graduation, and then My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, and then numero uno, baby, Yeezus, the greatest Kanye album of all time.
Let's go.
Wow.
Let's go.
Short, sweet, and to the point, and it's every song on Yeezus is a banger. So maybe Donda could one day aspire to be like Yeezus, but we'll see.
That's crazy. I don't think that I've listened to Yeezus or honestly enough of the rest of Kanye's discography to be able to validly put a list together right now. But I think I could say whether or not Donda would be low, middle, or high. I actually really enjoyed Donda. Like, it's got like 10 to probably, well, I got my list right here. 9 good songs. And there's actually a couple that I probably will end up adding to a playlist because, I mean, it's an album for me that as I listen to it, it keeps getting better. Like it's got some really, really good high points, and I think that the high points really, really outshine the low points. And also, if you were to just make the part twos, the part ones, and subtract 4 songs, then over half this album is good, in my opinion, or almost half of it. And honestly, like we said, if even if you shortened it to like 15, I think this could have been like potentially Kanye's best album, in my opinion. But like I said, I haven't listened to enough of the rest of his discography recently to be able to put like a good album ranking together. I think Watch the Throne is probably one of my favorite um, bodies of work from Kanye, even though it's not like a Kanye album. It's not only a Kanye album. Um, if I were to give it a ranking or a rating, and this might be controversial potentially, but I would give it an 8. I would give Donda an 8. And it was going to be somewhere between a 7.5 or an 8. I would have said like probably a 7.8. But for ControllerCast, easy 0.5 increments, I'm going to say an 8. I think Donda was great. And I think if it was 15 songs and they and Kanye like kind of redid the order of tracks a little bit, dude, it'd probably be a 10, honestly. It's a really good album in my opinion, and I've listened to it 5 times. Um, once on shuffle, so I don't know. I feel like it just gets better over time. But maybe we can revisit this conversation a little bit too next week when we talk about CLB. But um, Parker, do you want to give your rating? And then I don't know if you could rate the album. Do you think you could rate the Kanye albums from best to
No,
worst?
I
Oh,
really
I was gonna
can't.
say, I think this is on the higher end, between mid to high, lower high end Kanye. It's just
Yeah,
really long.
I need some more time to kind of figure out the final album ranking, but in my opinion, this is very mid. This album as a whole is a collective album. I think it's very mid. Kanye's definitely had worse albums. That's for sure. Jesus is King was literal. I don't know what that was. What if you want to call that an album? But honestly, there's a lot that I liked on Donda. It wasn't like it was all just negativity. There's stuff that I'm gonna listen to for a long time. Um, and there are quite a few bangers. I wasn't expecting there to be like a whole bunch of bangers. I thought this would be more of a vibey gospely album when like when it first was starting out. So I I'm glad that we have some bangers in there, you know, that you can just blast in your car with your windows open on a nice day. But
Right. I didn't
honestly,
expect that either.
but for my rating, I'm gonna go just because I'm rating this album as a collective whole. This isn't representative of like a few of the songs on the album, of course. I'm giving it a 6.5, man. There's just so many songs that just are fillers that kind of bring down the quality for me. Um, it, I think a 6.5 kind of fits that mid roll for Kanye. Like it, I feel like there's a lot of good on this album, but there's also a whole lot of bad. I've in it if they just shorten the length to 15 songs, 10 to 15 songs, that rating could be a 9 out of 10, bro. Like this could be a whole lot better than it is. Um, so I hope that Kanye in the future kind of strays away from this kind of direction. I don't think this will be the last album of Kanye because you know how Drake had Scorpion. Uh, Even though it's a long album, there it's not the end of everything. So there's a lot. I actually like the features on Donda. There's some that were kind of useless, but there were some features that impressed me for sure. Um, I I think I got to re-listen to Yeezus and see how much I like that because when I first heard Yeezus, I did not like it at all, but supposedly there's a lot of hype behind it. Um,
I gotta
So-
revisit
Yeah.
Jesus as well.
We gotta do an episode on that. She.
But yeah,
Um,
overall 6.5 I think fits the bill right now. Maybe that goes like my ratings always seem to be flexible. Like it's always kind of what I think in the moment, and that's just how I'm feeling in the moment. But things always
Fair.
change over time for me.
yeah.
What about you, Ursel?
So it's kind of funny. We're really gonna have some all over the place kind of review scores. I think this is gonna be the most. I feel like scattered. I feel like none of us are really landing on the same thoughts here with this album. But look, the highs on this album. When this album is firing on all cylinders, this album fucking slaps. Like this album is that has amazing moments, really fantastic, amazing moments. Some beautiful, somber moments. When Kanye's rapping his ass off, he's great. There's some great production on this thing. Some of the features are fucking fantastic. Some like best, best of class performances by some of these features. But the album is way too long. I don't know what's going on with those part twos. Some of the songs tend to drag. I think the theme of this album is kind of very. I don't think it connects completely because it's supposed to be like about his mom, but I feel like his mom is really not at the forefront of this album, so that's kind of like strange. Like what's like it feels like the theme of this album kind of jumps between a lot of different things. And I think the second half, I think the second half of this album really, really drags. I think the first half, it's like very like top heavy, like as Parker's saying, like, and I also think it's just front loaded. I think a lot of the best stuff is at the beginning, and I think if you just mixed around some of these songs, the order of these songs, cut some of these songs out, had this album around the 15 to 15 track range, this would have been this probably would have been like a 9 out of 10 for me. But right now to me it feels kind of like a mix between Jesus is King and The Life of Pablo, which kind of rounds out to me as like a shittier Life of Pablo. I think Life of Pablo is a better album than this one, by good margin. The album just felt more confident as well, and yeah, I think that's kind of my summation of everything. It's a really long album, kind of all over the place, but when it hits, it really hits well. But there's a lot of things that drag it down, like Junia and God Breathe and the second half. But yeah, so putting that, and I think I would say, taking all that into consideration, this is probably somewhere in the middle, low to middle maybe tier Kanye. I think this is a bit of a return to form for him, because after Life of Pablo, we did get Yay and Kids See Go. I actually like Kids See Ghost, but we got Yay and Jesus is King, which were stinkers. So it's nice to get a proper full length album where it seems like it's kind of a return to form for him. So I think this is probably like what I probably expected from in terms of quality level for this album. And I'm liking the trajectory. I think if Kanye's going this trajectory, the next album would be great. But I think this is a good return to form for him. But it's kind of a mixed bag in terms of a return to form. But in terms of his qualities, I think he's starting to get better again. I'm going to give this album a 7.5 out of 10. I think it's good, but I think it could have been great or amazing if they just made some changes, which I think you guys were saying too. I think that's kind of a sentiment. The state that the album is in right now, I think with just some changes, it could have been fantastic. And I think that's kind of the sentiment, but it's kind of a mixed bag with how it is right now. There's greatness hidden in this album, but it's kind of buried with a bunch of bullshit. So I think that puts us out to 5.5, 6.5, 7.5, and 8. I think that's a 6.9. Is that the
6.8?
6.8? It is?
I think so.
Okay. 6 point, is it 8.75? So rounds to 6.9. Did they do that right?
6.9. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so there you go. The final score of Donda is 6.9. Now we'll see how the certified lover boy next week stacks up against that. Poppy's home. But yeah, I'm excited to talk about that. I'm sure we all are. So next week we'll see. Yeah, next week we'll be talking about Certified Lover Boy and giving the controller cast thoughts on that. But at the end of the day, Donda 6.9. And we'll see how Drake holds up against that one. So thanks for listening, guys. Obviously, listen on your favorite feeds, favorite platforms, share with whoever you can in real life or on socials, and just keep listening and keep enjoying. So that's Ursula out. See you guys.
Peace out. Keep it real.
See you guys.
Bye, guys.